Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Today we are flying from Brussels National to Heathrow. Today I'm going to show you a bit of a different video compared to last time. First main difference is that today we're going to fly an airliner. We're going to pick the Airbus A320neo. We're taking off from the Brussels National Airport. I'm currently still setting up my flight plan, so let's look into that right away. So we are taking off from Brussels from the 25 right runway. We're going to take off and immediately head right. We are going to intercept NIK and Denat, and then we are flying more or less on a straight line to Heathrow, and we're expecting to land on the 27 right runway at the Heathrow airport. In London. Let's fine-tune the approach. So as we said before, we're going to fly on the 27 right. So this is one possible approach, which essentially will make us do this weird turn. I don't think I like it that much. Let's see if we have different options. Let's look for the 27 for this nav. Okay, this looks more of an easy approach. We're following more or less a straight line here. This should be pretty much fine. As you can see, we also have BAW411, who is also probably going to land in the same direction that we're going to, and we also have the BAW677 doing the same. So why don't we do that? Yeah. So the flight should be pretty easy, pretty straight. As said, we take off, we head right, and then we have more or less a straight flight until we reach Heathrow. I've selected IFR with low altitude because I don't want to fly up in the sky for such a short distance flight. So that's it. We're going to spice things up by having a bit of a nasty weather for us, so it's going to snow. I'm going also to put the timing at, let's say, dusk, also to make it nicer and see what happens when we fly under low visibility condition with snow, so we can actually look also into other aspects of the aircraft. Okay, we are set up. Our nav log for confirmation. We're going to take off in Brussels, then we go up until we reach our cruise altitude of almost 18,000 feet for a short amount of time. Then we will start our descent pretty much when we reach Rapix, or between actually sunup, where we'll actually start to descend until we reach the airport in Heathrow. Okay, so let's hit the button and let's fly. So here we go. We are in the airport. We are ready for taking off. We just received the clearance. We're ready to take off, so let's jump into the aircraft. As you can see, visibility is very low. Compared to my previous video, this time we are inside an airliner. As you can see, this is a much bigger aircraft, much heavier aircraft. You can actually see the global weight here of 60,980 kilos and going down. Not sure why it's going down so fast. I don't think we are burning that much fuel right now. Anyway, that's what's happening. So the first thing you want to know and check when you're flying in such difficult weather condition is actually anti-icing. As you can see, by default, anti-icing is actually switched off. So you want actually to enable it for wings, for the engine, and also for the windshield. This essentially prevents from having problems during our flight. So excellent. So As always, Control 1 will focus on this, Control 2 now will focus on this panel, Control 3 will focus on this other panel, Control 4, Control 5, Control 6, 7, 8. So with Control 8 you have access to this nice thingy on top of your head. So what is the difference compared to the Daher, for instance, to the other aircraft I used in my other video? So, not really much difference, except one thing. This aircraft has auto-thrust. As you can see here, you can actually enable it. What does it mean? It means that the plane will actually always try to maintain the speed that you set and specify using this knob, right? We will see later on, of course, during the takeoff, we're going to do it completely manual. Another thing to pay attention to is actually the throttle. So what does it mean? As you can see here, there are different values on this device, right? 0, which is the position we're currently in, and then as you can see, as you move up, you get into this ATHR, which stands for auto-throttle, and this essentially says that whatever range you're going to leave your engine throttle control is going to be in auto-thrust, or sorry, in auto-throttle. But there are 3 settings that are also important here, right? One is TOGA, FLX MCT, and CL. So what's the difference? If you move the control to TO, this means that you're actually going to do takeoff or go around. This is especially useful when you actually take off. This is what I'm going to use later on precisely to take off. The second setting here is actually called MCT, which stands for maximum continuous throttle, I believe, which is, as far as I know, and this is something I read while looking for an explanation, it says, in the case one of the engine fails, this is the type of speed that you can constantly keep the other engine, of course the working one, running, just to avoid overheating or overrunning or overboosting your engine. But actually the most interesting setting for us is going to be CL, which stands for climb. It's a bit counterintuitive when you think about that, because most of our flight will actually be on CL, which actually doesn't make much sense, because of course at the beginning we will definitely climb, but once we start the descent, you will also notice that I will leave the throttle to these specific settings and I will control everything with the knob I mentioned before, essentially this one. Since I'm here, you also want to pay attention to this value here. This currently says idle 0%, which is technically, well, which is correct right now, but this is actually indicating the actual current throttle that is that the plane is on. If I move this a little bit up, as you can see, this also goes into auto, because we are in this auto section. But this also gives you a nice percentage of what you're actually currently set to, right? If you disengage the auto throttle, you will also notice that the other engine starts to go down, right? Because the other engine technically is controlled by this other control. However, if we were on a flight situation, you will also get to see on this panel here, telling you that the two controls essentially are not correctly aligned. So anyway, you always should keep those aligned. So we put them both to 0, idle 0, 0. We enable the auto thrust, and that's it. This engine has also another important setting, or another important control, which is the speed, which are the speed brakes. So the speed brakes actually regulate the brakes when you're actually flying. If we look at the plane from outside, this is how it currently looks. If you were to pull, if you were to pull the auto brakes to, for instance, 50%, you see this one starts to go up both sides, because this essentially is the position for the wings when you actually want to brake. If you go to 100%, you'll see them almost completely open. And this essentially will give us maximum brake capacity and capability when flying. Of course, we don't want to do that while we are taking off, so I'm going to put it back. Also the flaps now currently in position 1 for takeoff. When we actually will be in the sky, tack, we're going to put it to 0. Alright, so without further ado, everything is already set. We don't have to click anywhere because the flight plan is currently registered in this device here, which I currently don't know how to use very well. What I know is that you can click on flight panel, flight plane, and then, flight plan, and then you can actually get to see the different values for the next phases. Phases that are actually in here. As you can see, you can actually move between the phases. Let's go in order so you see them all. So first of all, we're going to take off, and then we're going to switch to climb, then we're going to switch to cruise, and then essentially to descent, which is our descent, and then to approach for the final approach, and then the go around, which is essentially our taxi at the very end of our journey. Okay, enough talking. Let's jump to, one second. Okay, so let's start. So as we said, anti-icing is on. Everything should be ready for takeoff. If we want to be very precise, we could look into the checklist. But as you can see, for this plane, for this aircraft, is actually not complete. We don't have the checklist for before taking off and before landing and so on and so forth. So I don't like very much airlines. I don't like very much airliners. I think they are not yet completely I don't think they are complete right now. I think that they haven't reached feature parity compared to the other aircrafts. But anyway, we're still going to give it a try and see how it works. So let's push this to the very end. We will see our engines going up. We have already altitude set to 5,000. The dot here says that we are in managed altitude, and we can actually release the brakes and we can start for our flight. As you can see from the radar here, we should immediately head right after takeoff. I have enabled also the flight director, which is the green thing in the middle, which is going to help me understand where to go. The idea is to follow the white square, because that's the one that's going to give us all the information that we need. Okay, flaps are up completely, landing gears also up, and I'm going to gently start to head right to intercept the green line. Now, as you can see here, we are still in takeoff. I'm going to lower it to climb.
Airbus 320.
And now we are in climb mode.
Brussels departure Airbus Alpha Sierra X-ray 320 is climbing through 1,000,
which means we're going to lose speed. So I'm going to turn on the autopilot.
Airbus Alpha Sierra X-ray 320.
And as you can see, there is a purple line here, which is indicating that currently we are using the managed speed in our plan, in our flight plan, and which is actually the right speed before you reach 10,000 feet, right? I also don't like it very much. I like to control things manually, so I'm going to hit the button and put 250 because I want to control the speed manually. So anyway, right now we are flying, we are climbing to 5,000 feet, but as the ATC tower is telling us we need to reach 10,000 feet immediately, so I'm going to increase these values. I actually, if you see the numbers going up now for altitude, it's because I'm using my Xbox controller to actually control those values. It's not magic, it's not moving by itself. I'm using the Xbox controller to do that. We are climbing at an incredible high speed. At this rate, our passengers are going to vomit, I think. I don't don't think you usually do that.
125.0 for Airbus A320.
Yeah, it's a game, so we're going to have fun anyway.
Brussels Center Airbus Alpha Sierra X-ray 320 is climbing through 6,600 feet
in
for
the easiest possible
10,000
way.
feet.
If this were too much and we want to lower it, we will see later on we could engage the vertical speed by clicking here. That will mean essentially pushing this knob in, and that would essentially allow us to control the vertical speed manually. Since we have reached already 10,000 feet, I am just going to let the plane stabilize, which is happening right now. Very nice. And I'm going to stop there and see and wait for the next instructions. With this knob here, you change the range of the screen here.
Airbus A320 climb and maintain 16,000 feet.
Alright, we have just received new piece of information that we should climb 16,000 feet. 16,000 feet, so I'm going to hit this knob here. Now I'm using the mouse so you can see exactly what I'm touching. But as you can see, the altitude is not changing, right? Because we reached the previous altitude. So what we can do, we have two options. Either I'm going to click this and engage managed altitude mode, which means that, as you can see, my new setting has been pushed into the aircraft, and now it's 16 is here, and as you can see, the aircraft is climbing. We could change again, as I said, vertical speed. I'm going to do it now, so you can see you can actually click this button, and now we are in control of the vertical speed. I can decrease it to 2000, and now you will see here this will be set on 20, which stands for 2000 feet per minute. We could also increase our speed because we are above 10,000 feet. So why don't we do that? I click here and I'm going to increase our speed to, I don't know, let's say 320. Let's do that. As you can see, speed changes immediately. Since we have everything set manually, the aircraft is going to follow our instructions. If we were actually to use the manage altitude mode, what would happen is that before climbing, the aircraft tends to reach the speed and then will follow the altitude. Now we are turning left, as you can see here, because actually our flight plan says so. We have to intercept Denut, so the aircraft is turning left. Here you can actually click the button and see the terrain. Since we are very high in the sky, there are no mountains nearby us, and this essentially says that we shouldn't be hitting anything. And there we go. And we have reached already 16,000 feet. Let me actually press X a couple of times on the Xbox. Okay, now we are perfectly in the CL mode. CL mode, as you can see here, this percentage will change in order to maintain the speed of the aircraft. This is entirely done by the aircraft automatically. Of course, you will see now we are almost level.
Climb and maintain flight level 180 Airbus A320.
We should climb to 180. I'm going to do it in a few seconds, but I want you to notice that the throttle is going down because we are stabilizing. We don't have any more to climb. We have reached the desired speed. Now I'm going to put 18,000, and I'm not going to touch anything. The aircraft will again start automatically to go up to reach 18,000 feet. As I was saying before, you may want actually to increase the speed, so you may want to control it. So you don't want to hit this because this will essentially level off the aircraft at the current altitude. So what you want to do is actually either you move the node to 2000, right? As you can see, nothing has changed. You have to click, engage vertical speed, tack. Now the vertical speed here is read by our autopilot or our flight assistant, and we also have 2000 feet per minute here, and the aircraft is now climbing at the desired vertical speed. What I find really interesting about this game is, as you can see, since there was snow before, the aircraft is currently covered by snow and ice. That's why before I told you to actually enable the anti-icing or anti-icing, I don't know how you pronounce that correctly. So make sure you have this thingy on all the time.
Brussels Center, Vueling 2902 is out of flight level 280 for 10,000 feet. Vueling 2902, Brussels Center, continue as planned.
If you're curious, you can even check the temperature outside, which is at the moment, I believe, minus 41 degrees, even though this is also referring to the atmosphere temperature. I think one refers to the terrain and this one refers to the temperature actually outside.
Ryanair 208, you are 20,000 feet above your assigned altitude. Descend and maintain 10,000 feet. Descend and maintain 10,000 feet, Ryanair 208.
Since I want to reach the final destination as fast as possible, I'm going to increase further our speed to 340 knots kts, and as you notice, we reach the speed, the throttle will lower automatically because we are in CL mode. Everything is controlled by this knob, and yeah, that's it. As simple as that. Out of curiosity, I just checked online the meaning of these two different values. So the first one refers to the total air temperature outside the aircraft as measured by the aircraft, whereas the SAT is also referred to static air temperature, which refers to the temperature of the air around an aircraft, but it is unaffected by the passage of the aircraft. So the temperature here is higher because the aircraft is passing through it and is also generating heat, and therefore that's why this is different than the one below. This is actually the temperature. The SAT refers to the temperature of the air, assuming that the aircraft didn't exist. So this is actually probably the real static air temperature currently outside here at this altitude. So one thing I just did
Ryanair
was
7307, you are 20,000 feet above your assigned altitude. Descend and maintain 10,000 feet.
So one thing I just did was hitting this button here, which is constraints. These constraints actually will allow you to see on the ND also the information regarding the altitude, I think, as registered in our flight plan. So if we click this here, you will see 17,800, 17,800, 17,800, and then sun up 17,700, and as you can see here, this refers exactly to this value here. That's why before we could have flown essentially at an engaged managed altitude, which would have essentially followed precisely the flight plan as registered into our device. This is very interesting if you want to have those visual indicators on the ND.
Ryanair 8208, descend and maintain 10,000 feet. Descend and maintain 10,000 feet, Ryanair 8208. Airbus A320neo, contact London Center on 118.475. 118.475 for Airbus A320. London Center, Airbus Alpha Sierra X-Ray A320, flight level 180. Airbus Alpha Sierra X-Ray A320, London Center, continue to Revix as planned. Altimeter 29.902. Lufthansa 2487, you are 20,000 feet above your assigned altitude. Descend and maintain 10,000 feet.
Okay, so since we are about to commence our descent, one thing I noticed in our cruise, it says that the managed speed, I think this refers to the speed, it should be 285. So
London Center Ryanair
I'm going to
208 is
hit
at
the
flight
button,
level 290, descending 10,000
and now
feet.
we will see that the
Ryanair
aircraft
208 London Center continue as
will
planned.
start to decelerate automatically in order to reach 285 kts.
Lufthansa 2487, contact Brussels Center on 125.0. Lufthansa 2487.
In theory, we could even change this by inserting 290 and then saying selected. I'm not sure how you can actually enable this one on top of this one, but yeah, essentially I don't know if the implementation of this device here is actually complete. What I can tell you is that, yeah, whenever you see managed and everything is managed, is because it's controlled actually by this system. If we were to hit again the flight plan, as you can see now, we are after, yeah, as you can see also here on the aircraft, after Tebra 15,700, which definitely is lower than we currently are. So if we were actually to follow the managed altitude, we will have already started our descent. So I'm going to actually request for vector
London
for
Center,
our
Airbus
next
Alpha
waypoint.
Sierra X-ray 320 requesting vector to next waypoint.
Airbus 320 continue to turning
Nope.
and following heading 325.
They still want to keep our current altitude, as you can see. So it's good that we
Continue
actually
to turning and following
are
heading
managing
325.
our
Proceed on
altitude
course Airbus
manually.
320.
Forgot also to mention that here this also says the minimum descent rate should be minus 350 feet, which also probably would refer to the fact that if you were to enable the managed altitude right now, we should be starting to descend at that rate. As you can see also now altitude is controlled by CLZ, which is this one. But maybe this is taking actually priority over what's in here.
Speedbird 705 descend and maintain 2,100.
I don't know very well airliners. As you can see, I'm actually trying. I'm doing some experiments myself. Yeah, I think that's maybe the easiest way also to learn.
Descend and maintain 2,100 feet. Speedbird 705.
This aircraft also, if we wanted to decrease our speed, has also auto brakes, as you can see here, low, medium,
Airbus
and high.
320 descend and maintain 10,000
The point is
feet.
that whenever I try, these actually don't work for
Descend
me.
and
I need
maintain
always to engage
10,000
them
feet Airbus 320.
manually here, and I don't know why. I don't know if I'm missing an obvious setting. Anyway, now we got told to descend and maintain 10,000 feet. So I'm going to rotate this to 10,000 feet, and I'm going to engage the selected altitude. We're going to go down now. Of course, I also want to have a faster vertical speed, so I'm going also to engage this button, and now, as you can see, we're going to descend at 2,000 feet per minute.
Climb and maintain 10,000 feet, Ryanair 8405.
As you can see, also climb mode is still engaged on the control here. As you can see, also the speed is going up.
Airbus 320 traffic is 10 o'clock, 4 miles at flight level 210 generic.
We have set the auto brakes. Well, actually now it's getting a bit better.
Airbus
But I never,
320 has generic in sight.
I've never seen actually the brakes opening up while flying an airliner. It used to happen to me when I was flying with X-plane, but not with this Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. As you can see here on the map, we have an aircraft going that direction, and you can also see that very aircraft crossing the sky. Also very, very cool to see. There's also another aircraft above us. Maybe it's this one, I don't know. I think earlier I was able to see it. And as you can see, also the ATC has told us, right? Traffic is 10 o'clock, 4 miles, flight level 2110 generic. And yeah, we had that insight for confirmation that we were not going to collide.
Ryanair 8405, you are 800 feet above your assigned altitude. Descend and maintain 10,000 feet altimeter 29.902. Descend and maintain 10,000 feet, Ryanair 8405.
Since we started our descent, also the flight plan says that our managed speed for the descent is 240. So I don't know why this phase hasn't started yet. I think that we started our descent because we definitely have started it. As you can see, we were also supposed to reach EPKUS here at 6,500 feet. We are still in CRZ mode according to our flight system here. I don't want to activate the approach phase because that's too soon, but I'm going to anyway decrease the speed to 240. So I'm going to lower this to 240. Remember that we are currently managed speed. As you can see here, it says speed. I'm going to, sorry, I made a mistake. Speed means that it's controlled by the aircraft, but as you can see here, there is a dot when the speed is managed by the system. When you actually want to engage your own speed mode, then the dot disappears. So I'm going to lower this to 40. And now we are in approach phase apparently, so we skipped completely the test phase. and we're in approach. We should intercept the air now, 27R. So since we are in approach
Airbus
phase,
320 descend and maintain 3,000 feet.
okay, we are going down. I mean,
Descend and
not
maintain
down,
3,000
down,
feet,
down,
Airbus
I hope.
320.
So I'm going to set the altitude to 3,000 feet.
Airbus 320 contact Heathrow approach on 120.4.
And we're going to lower our speed to
120.4 for Airbus
40
320.
as we said.
Heathrow
And,
approach Airbus Alpha Sierra X-ray 320 is at 9,800
and
feet,
probably we
descending
will need
3,000
also
feet.
to lower it a bit more. Let's go down to
Airbus Alpha
200.
Sierra X-ray 320 Heathrow approach continue as planned. Altimeter 29.902. Airbus 320 you are 31 miles east. Maintain present heading and altitude. Expect vectors RNAV Yankee runway 27 right approach.
Let's also descend at
Maintain
least
present heading and
up
altitude.
to
Expect
1,000
vectors RNAV Yankee runway
per
27
minute.
right approach Airbus
And
320.
now we can actually go down at a better speed. Higher speed actually. If you wanted to brake, you could decide to brake. You can pull this. You can go to 50% for instance, and as you can see the speed will start to go down much faster. And as you can see from outside, you have brakes on. This is definitely visible now on the aircraft. The aircraft will start to accelerate because now you're braking, so you want to release the brakes. This will go down, and then as you can hear again, the throttle will also go down. You don't need to push that hard. There is gravity helping you now, going down. So we go, we are currently completely, we're going to cut into the clouds in a few minutes. It looks like the aircraft is going up, but it's actually not going up. As you can see here, our vertical speed is negative.
Maintain present heading and altitude. Contact Heathrow Tower on 118.705.
As you can see, okay,
Maintain present heading and altitude.
we also have
Tower on 118.705
the
Airbus
heading for the
320.
airport here on the left.
Heathrow Tower Airbus
What
Alpha
does it
Sierra
mean? That
X-ray
we are not
320
currently
3 miles east
completely
inbound RNAV
aligned
Yankee runway
with
27 right approach.
with runaway, right? It says here that we are 23 miles east,
Heathrow Tower.
so we have to go ovest,
Yankee runway
or sorry,
27 right
west.
approach.
So let's go left.
272 at 8.
Let's go left and let's engage.
Cleared
heading
RNAV
mode.
Yankee runway 27 right approach Airbus 320.
Too much, definitely too much.
Speedbird Niner 87 cleared to land runway 27 right.
Oh, that's the
Follow the
speed
generic on final.
I'm doing.
Wind 272 at 8.
Oops.
Cleared to land runway 27 right, Speedbird Niner 87.
We can ask for directions.
Heathrow Tower Airbus Alpha Sierra X-ray 320 is unfamiliar with the area. Request directions to the airport.
Airbus 320 airport is 1 o'clock 19 miles.
1 o'clock, so a bit to our right, correctly, 19 miles. I'm going to hit the button also for the approach, and as you can see now, the aircraft has intercepted the glide slope. I hope. Maybe not. Maybe yes. Yes, here it says final. So I think right now the altitude is going to be controlled by the approach. Well, let's see. Good thing that we are not actually on the aircraft now. There are 3 aircrafts in front of us. We have to get down here. Our runway is 14 nautical miles from us. Let's decrease further our speed. Let's go down to something like 150 knots. Okay. We can even increase a little bit of brakes. As you can see, now we start to see London. Well, almost London. I mean, this is already London, maybe? Hard to tell. But yeah, we can start putting the flaps up. As you can see also now on the terrain here, we have information about our surroundings. Nothing is actually in our way, everything is green. As you can see, the aircraft is moving to help us get into the precisely get into the runway. We're still in CL mode here. We're not changing anything. We have decreased our speed. We're still a bit faster than I was hoping for. So let's again move the flaps. You can see now we have an F here. And let's go here. It's also a good time, I believe, to get our landing gears down and flaps completely down. We can engage also the auto brakes. Now the aircraft is moving up and down horribly. Okay. Now we are precisely and perfectly in the center. The runway is down there. As you can see, we cannot see anything, so we are completely trusting the system. Landing gears are down. Let's look for lights. I think we have been flying with the lights on. That's fine. We can even decrease our speed further. 120 should be pretty much okay. No, we are too slow according to the system. That's too slow. Okay, let's not go too slow then. Let's learn.
Airbus A320 cleared to land runway 27
That
right.
was too much.
Wind 272 at 8.
I think.
Cleared to land runway 27 right, Airbus A320.
I mean, I am relying on the system a lot. I think at this point, it maybe actual pilots probably will be in complete control of the aircraft. Let's stay 140. There we go. No brakes.
1000.
This is actually how far away we are from the terrain. 800 feet. We don't need this anymore. I will disengage the autopilot when we are a bit closer, and then I will do the landing myself. Hoping for the best. This is always a nice moment of tension, especially when using an Xbox controller. 200. Let me disengage the autopilot now.
300.
I can't see anything. 0. How perfect are we today, huh? That's really, really, really perfect. Please don't crash.
100.
Let's move the nose up a bit.
40. 30.
Oh no, there's another aircraft. Oh my god, you really don't want this in a real life scenario.
Retard.
Let's
5.
land. Okay. That wasn't super smooth, but we managed it. Oh, I forgot to disengage the auto-throttle. Oh, let's click here. Let's brake, 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 brake. Ah, there's so many aircrafts everywhere. 22%. Let's go down.
Airbus A320
All
exit
right.
runway when able.
Not red. This is something really complicated to do without an actual tool. Okay, so we're there. And we put the external visual, which is really much better for me right now because I can see at least this and I can see the actual speed. We are hitting so many other pilots.
Airbus A320 turn next taxiway.
Alright. Increase a bit the speed. A bit more. Move, move, move. There are so many weird people here.
Airbus A320 exit runway when able.
Yeah, we will now exit the runway. No, 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 don't hit me. Nice. We can even remove the icing now. Ah, as you can see here, it's not snowing. I'm so slow. Let's get out of here.
Airbus A320 exit runway when able.
Why that one? No, 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 not this one. I like this one. No, 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 no. Next thing here. Nope.
Airbus A320 contact ground on 121.705.
121.705 Airbus A320.
It's lagging from me. Anyway, we're there. I'll slow down a bit. La. There we go. Heathrow, London. And we can park it here. Precisely on top of this one. Yep. If that's what the game wants. Alright. Let's put this to 0. Come on. Here we go. No, 0. Perfectly. Here we go. This should be 0% though. Ah, why it's the rev? It's not in reverse, no? Is it? Is it? Idle. Well, it should be actually 0, but anyway. So I guess that's it. We can switch off the engines. I don't know if this is actually the right way to do it, but it works anyway. As you can see from outside, now the engines will completely 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Temperature outside is -5 degrees, and we can switch off everything. Okay, that's it. I think this is complete. We did everything we wanted to do. I hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.